And we are live in the green room with Chuck Wansley.
Hey, Chuck. Man. Nice intro.
It works, right?
It works well.
A quick story about that. I've been using some songs, and every time I put it up on Facebook or YouTube, it says I can't use the songs because I don't have the right. It's not mine. It's
right.
So I had Roger Smith from Tower of Power on, and these were a couple of his original songs that haven't been really released, and so I play it, and it's cool. So I can't tell you how excited I am that I actually have you on, and this is working, and it's all the way from Kiev. I mean, oh God, see, I did it again. Where are you?
Well, no, actually, I'm in Prague, which is the capital of the Czech Republic.
In case somebody's watching, we actually have a viewer, and
good.
How long have you lived there now?
5 years.
It's been 5 years?
It sure has. It's gone by pretty fast, but we love it here. It's a fantastic place.
And if I've watched your Facebook posts and the pictures and the YouTube stuff, and holy shit, you are doing some incredible stuff over there, way more than what you could ever do in Los Angeles.
Well, that's very nice of you to say. It's been great here. Everyone is receptive to creating all the time. And I have done a lot since I've been here, so I've also been able to travel quite a bit to other countries right around this area. So if you get it on the map here, the Czech Republic is Central Europe. So it's easy for me to go to Germany or England or the Ukraine or Russia, which I go to quite a bit. So it's been great.
Well, I'm going to pull up a couple of pictures, and you may not be able to see them, but
I hope not.
Well, I want to just because you're talking about the bands that you play with there. I believe there's a picture that I'm going to put up, and it's got a tuba and a sax player. It looks like, I think,
right.
What's that band? Do you know?
It's called the Original Vintage Orchestra, and it's what they do. The band leader is named Peter Krotil. He put the band together, and what he's done is he's taken current music, kind of a little bit like postmodern jukebox, but he takes current music and does it in 1920s, 30s style. So that's what we've been doing. We've been having a lot of fun at that, and it's been great, super great.
Is that guy the guy that you brought to Los Angeles with you that one time with the funny looking radio microphone?
Yes, that's him. That's him, Peter.
Yeah,
he's a great guy, and he's one of my best buddies here in Prague.
Okay, so there's a couple of other pictures here. One is with a full orchestra. And what is that one? Do you know? It's the strings and everything. What concert was that? It's just a picture.
I believe that one is from Kiev, which is in the Ukraine, and that was last year, March 1st, and I've performed a number of times with that band. It's kind of a big band orchestra mix with strings, and I call it my big band jazz, or big jazz promo, basically.
Okay, so actually, I have a video of that. You would can I play that video now?
Sure.
That'd be great. I kind of want to just set all this up, and then we can talk about. I want to talk to you about how you got all this going, because this is cool stuff. So give me a minute to set this up, and I got to just switch on this thing here, and then that. Share, and this is actually pretty cool when it works. What I need is an assistant that can show this. All right, here we go.
Thank you. Спасибо. I'm gonna live till I die. I'm gonna laugh instead of cry. I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna have my fling. I'm gonna live up till I die. Now you say you love me, and just to prove that it's true, why don't you cry me a river, cry me a river. I cried a river over you. I cried a river over you. I cried a river over you. Now you can cry a river over me. Cry me a river. Thank you. I'm on my way to Harlem. Ellington, he don't live around here. He moved away one day, they say, away. Oh, I can hear his echo still. Somebody you can take away from where I was born. I was baptized from my daddy's home. No, 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 no. You can't take me away where I was born. I was raised by the sweet sound of the jazz man's horn. Oh, 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 oh. Over back in Colorado, lovers hold each other tight. Midnight Italiano, it's better tonight. Maybe it's just better, baby. Go, go, go. Or as we natives say, far through Hallelujah, gonna laugh, gonna lie. I'll take a chance, riding high. Before my numbers up, I'm gonna fill my cup. I'm gonna live, 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 live until I die. Thank you, Dr. Danya.
All right, so I know that was kind of a abrupt stop. I can't fade it out. I don't have that kind of technology.
That's cool.
But I had to let that play because I mean, there was nothing like that going on in LA.
Uh, well, actually, it's been a dream of mine to do a project like that. So I actually made it happen in Kiev. When I first went there, I was started off. It was had like a jazz trio, quartet, that sort of thing, then an R&B thing, and then I helped push them because over the years I've developed and procured big band charts and orchestra charts since for the last 30 years, hoping that at some point I'd use them. And so that's what I moved towards. And I convinced the producer to put on this show, and it was a complete success. And luckily, we captured it on camera.
It's beautiful. It looks great. It sounded great. So, how much convincing did it take to get the guy to go and take the chance on doing it? Did it feel like a chance to him?
Well, a little bit, because he has to put his nose out there, hoping that people will come to a show like that. But what's happening is he's trying to promote jazz in the Ukraine. So we had 3 nights of that, and it was a packed house every night in one of their great theaters, and it became easy. I mean, the first couple months leading up to it, I had to get his confidence on what I could do, but every time they have a concert there, it's always sold out. So I started developing a fan base, and he saw that he should go along with whatever my vision or my suggestions were, that it might work. And this worked for sure, So we've developed a great partnership.
How refreshing is it to get somebody to understand and say, okay, I'll take a chance on it. Let's try it. And then have it be, and support you and go with it.
Yeah, it's marvelous. It's marvelous. And, they're a little bit behind us as far as listening to music, so they're still listening to all types of music, older music as well. They're not tainted by, what has to be the most current sort of style. They have a broad range of what they like. So that way I can present those Hollywood hits, those show music tunes. And sometimes I'll do an R&B concert like that as well, which is with big band, but it's R&B charts like Earth, Wind and Fire and Stevie and that sort of thing.
Yeah. So that guy, that's in Kiev.
Yes.
That concert. And does he have other venues and other places to do stuff, or is it mainly there?
No, he has a number of venues. He operates throughout the whole country there. And he's got a huge production where sometimes they'll put on choral events, sometimes it's just orchestral, sometimes it's just straight jazz, and sometimes it's R&B. So he's working at trying to educate the country into all types of music, especially American style music. So he's cool.
And people are
young guy.
I'm sorry, and people are enjoying it and showing up and filling up all the seats.
Every single time. All the concerts are sold out. I hope to think it's because of myself, but they're always sold out, and people are really appreciative. And at the end, they always want to come up and talk or take pictures or sign autographs, and it's refreshing. Actually.
How wonderful is that? And I got to say, knowing you for as long as I have, and then this is going to circle. We're going to do a circle a little bit back before we get here now, because knowing what we did and what you've done in California and all the stuff and all the gigs that nobody really cared about, and you work and you work and you work, and they're just like, yeah, whatever.
How far back are we going, Jeff?
Well, let me
come on.
Okay, so somebody sent me some pictures, and I got this picture. Wait a minute, I put that in the wrong place. I'm just gonna go. There's a picture of you as a young fella playing drums.
Oh, geez.
So, do you know the pictures that were sent to me?
Yes, I know them. I was probably 17 to 18 years old in those. I was a drummer back then, and when I got out of high school, I immediately went on the road with a musical group called Up With People, and I was their main drummer. So that was me at that time.
Up With People.
Yes.
And you were and how long? When did you start playing drums?
I started playing drums actually in elementary school. So it was probably ninth grade or no, before that. Yeah, seventh, eighth grade, something like that. And as a fluke, I was playing drums. I asked my parents, could I sign up? Because everybody in school was going to play an instrument or what have you. And I wanted to play the drums. And my father kind of looked at me and was like, dude, why don't you play the flute or something? Drums is a big deal. So it turns out my father this is strange. My father was a drummer before I was born. He never told me. So when he got married with my mom and they're going to have a child, he stopped playing in clubs, took his drums, turned them sideways, made a coffee table, and that was the beginning there. As far as that was the end of him, and the beginning for me.
So it was you just by a fluke you kept playing drums and you were like you liked it once you started playing and were happy playing drums. And
I loved it. Growing up, my father was always playing jazz all the time, so all I listened to was big band jazz and Sinatra and Joe Williams and all those folks. And I loved vocals. So being in the church choirs, I could sing a little bit. So I'd listen to Dionne Warwick and Ella and Nancy Wilson, and just about everybody. So as I was going through high school, elementary school and high school, I ended up started playing in bands at a young age. And I remember in 8th grade, I played in a nightclub on a Thursday night, and I was playing with these old guys. They were 30 years old at that time. Painters during the day, but jazz musicians at night. And here I was from junior high school, and my first gig was $8. I thought I died and went to heaven. So that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. My father kind of shook his head. He said, "Oh, okay, if that's what you want to do." But I just continued on my own.
Did you sing and play drums the whole time?
No. In junior high school, I was playing in my cousin's band, and the lead singer didn't show up one day. And I happened to know all the songs because I was always listening to them. So they needed someone to sing those songs. So I started playing and singing by accident on the gig, and it became something, big, so.
Well, here's another picture, and this is you on a full. There's a band. You're in the middle of the band, and let's make this full big. There's horns and girls and guitars, and you're right in the middle.
Maybe that's Up With People.
Is that Up With People? It looks like a promo shot.
Well, what it was, we were on a stage, and but it was outdoors, and it was cloud overcast. I remember, I think it was in like Minnesota or Minneapolis or something like that. And yeah. Wow, holy cow! Yeah, so it, right? It was outdoors. So the overcast made the shot seem, clearer. It was kind of wild. So there's what it was. There's one of the numbers in the show is a dance number, instrumental number where there's a drum solo. So that was the one of the tunes. It was called Jacks. Wow.
It makes me think of You're the Star. You were the star, and you were like Buddy Rich or something, back then playing the drums, and everybody's going like, here's our star drummer.
Well, that's how those people, I think, knew me, remember me now. And actually, a lot of them write me from time to time, and how come you're not drumming? But I changed horses in the middle of the stream and decided I wanted to become a lead vocalist, But I enjoy drumming. I really, really do, But Singing is a little different. It's a different animal as well, and I hope to think because of my drumming, I sing rhythmically. You know, so that helps with the swing, helps with the funk and the R&B. But that's my thing now.
Well,
so
when did you quit playing drum? When was that? With like 20, 21, 25?
No, now we're getting into the age thing. In my 30s, I kind of stopped. Yeah, in my 30s, mid 30s, I stopped at that time.
That's a pretty long drum career, though. If you started when you were young and played till your 30s, that's a long.
Well, and I did a lot. I mean, I went around the world drumming with that show, and a lot through Europe, Africa. You know, but once I got to LA, I decided, man, I'm tired of being the first one to the gig because I got so much equipment and the last one to leave. I'm gonna, you know, I can sing, so I'm just gonna bring my microphone and like the lead singers do, and just come to the gig and split. Well, that became a curse because then I became the band leader. So when I became the band leader, then now I had to bring the PA, bring all the sheet music and all that other stuff. So I ended up, that big production became crazy, but it brought me to a new height there in LA, known as a band leader there, you know, so.
Well, I've got another picture then. If you can explain what this is. This is three guys in the white and the it should show.
Oh, that's New York City.
What
That's the group Warp 9, and we were a techno hit back in those days, in the 80s. We were a heavy-duty techno band in New York City and became popular in Europe at the same time. It was the same time when Madonna was starting to come up, and we were all using the same agents and performing in the same nightclubs in New York City. And you know, clubs would open up at 12 at night, and we'd be going till 5 in the morning. You know.
Okay, so I'm confused.
It's basically electronic hip hop.
Well, it looks cool. You know what I thought of, like MC Hammer kind of stuff.
Well, you could say some of that because there was some rapping going on, but a lot of the music was electronic, and also the message was about reaching towards the future and out to the stars and getting energy back that way, and how the future of music would be, and how you know, how our generation would change and move forward progressively and stuff like that.
So
what a picture.
Yeah, that is a good picture, and I had to show up because I'm going, Chuck, come on. So you lived in where did you grow up?
I grew up in New York, but not in New York City. It was on Long Island in Westbury. And from that, after high school, I went on the road with Up With People for like 3.5 years. I traveled all of Europe. And then from there, I came back to New York, lived in New Jersey for a while, also lived in Boston, and became a well-known funk band in the New England area called Match.
And then when did you make the
And I just want to mention something else. This Warp 9 group put together with Richard Shear and Lottie Golden. My buddy, Bo Brown, who was originally from the Strikers, he was one of the founding members, along with myself, with Warp 9, and he was a solid energy for that group.
Nice. What made you, after you did all of that, what made you choose going to California?
That was New York.
Right. So the camera stopped for a minute. I lost you for a second. When did you move to California?
I'm sorry. One more time.
Okay. Yeah, our connection is going like a little goofy for a second.
Okay.
So, you know, we're still at the mercy of the internet and the airwaves and all that stuff. And I'm still awestruck that you're in Prague and I'm in California. So anyway, when did you move to California then to make that switch? from New York City to California?
It was actually in the mid '80s.
And that's when you did all the band leader stuff.
Yes, I was with a company in California, in Los Angeles. I did a lot of work with Susan Dubois and Dubois Productions,
And
and they were, kind of what do you say, kind of casual band,
yeah,
casual company, which
right.
did a lot of casuals here in the LA area,
Well,
celebrity weddings, stuff like that.
yeah, and that's sort of what I was getting at when we when you and I have been doing those kinds of gigs too, where you do all of that and you can make a decent living, but it becomes sometimes such a job that you sort of lose the joy and appreciation, not getting appreciation from others and all that sort of thing. So now when we jump ahead to doing that for a number of years and being the band leader and having to deal with all that corporate stuff, then you go now to Prague, you get out of California and you get over there and it's like, oh, this is why I did music.
Well, it's true. It's true. Los Angeles was kind of like a battleground, where you learned a lot because you had so much, so much, how do you say, responsibility for leading the band and that sort of stuff, and listening to event planners and pulling all that stuff together. And so, it became a lot easier once I got here to Europe, where people, they seem to, I don't mean the slight of tone, but they seem to respond more to music and care more about different styles of music here. So it's been really refreshing for people to enjoy the music that I've been doing.
And when someone like yourself, who's so talented and such an entertainer, when you do it for as long as you did here, and it excuse me for saying, but it just seems to fall on deaf ears,
I'm glad you said it.
right?
I'm glad you said it.
But it's true. I mean, you can stand up there and be singing your butt off and really performing, and people are like, oh yeah, whatever. And
Well,
I mean, and but that's Los Angeles.
Yeah, it is a bit of Los Angeles, and that's the great thing about being here. No one is judging you, and they're just appreciating what your talent is, and they're taking it right from the start. And I do agree with you. I believe some of the people back there do decide, they think they've seen everything, so they don't really respond so well. So it was time for me to move away and grow a little more. So I think that's what happened for us.
Well, and the thing about, from my perspective, as I've seen you get over there and decompress from the lifestyle in California and everything there, all of the stuff you're doing is so refreshing, and you're being appreciated, and you're relaxed, and you and Suzanne have a nice home, and the people are wonderful, and all of a sudden it's, wow, I've got this really cool life. I'm being able to perform all the music I love. I'm doing everything I wanted to, and people are appreciating you and your talents. And it's, from my perspective, I've never seen you happier.
No, not at all. I have to say, it's less stressful here, and you can just put your shoulders down, relax, and enjoy the view. There's lots of architecture here. There's lots of music here. It's just culturally a great place to be, and so that makes it easy on my soul.
Right. Well, and we had a little bit of a talk, a little bit ahead of, as before we went on, about how young you look. You look like 20 years younger than me. And now I'm going to pull up.
Thank you.
I'm going to pull up some pictures that are you now. I believe these are going to be you in your happy state now. And these pictures, I'm telling you, whoever I know Suzanne was telling me who this photographer is, but these are absolutely fantastic pictures. I'm going to just kind of show through them. The one with you in a hat, maybe in front of a cafe or something, and then here's another one, you singing it. I mean, there's always a huge audience. Are you seeing these pictures now come up?
Yes, now I'm starting to see.
Okay.
That picture in the hat is actually a photographer called Wojciech. But most of the other photos I'll see when you pull them up have been taken by Richard Horak, which is one of our favorite photographers as well.
Yeah.
And that's in this one. There's a cafe. This next one, well, I'm doing kind of a Cab Calloway impersonation, is by Richard Horak in one of the venues here, Lucerna Music Bar.
These photos are fantastic. I mean, they're like
he's got a very special eye, and I'm always surprised what he comes up with. And I'm very, very lucky to have met him and for him to be in our lives right now. And it helps capture my feeling and my soul and my energy, and people will be able to see that forever. That's where I'm at. I'm in that picture. That's what I'm trying to project to everybody. So what you see is what you get.
And here comes another one. And you're just singing. I mean, it's just a great photo. Every photo is like a promo shot, right? And you should be seeing it in a minute.
It's wild because he's taking them live, and it's not like we're setting it up. It's very theatrical. His photos, and his eye just kind of hits it at the right moment. I don't see how he does it.
No.
That photo there, I believe, was taken by my wife.
Really?
Suzanne. That's my jazz photo.
Okay, that's a good one too. And then there's another one. There's a lady. It looks like a string player or trombone player or somebody in the background. But every one of these pictures are fabulous. And then I'm going to just kind of scroll through this one. I mean, I just love them. Then I want to show, because this is cool. All right. This is cool.
Okay.
The magazine cover, Christmas, was it Christmas is Blue? Christmas in Blue?
Christmas in Blue. That actually was in Russia. It was with the Russian folk orchestra. And this is crazy. When I was going there, they said, okay, you're going to be with the Russian folk orchestra. And I'm thinking, okay, strings, this big orchestra. And I get there, and as well as the woodwind section, like all orchestras have, instead of strings, they were all balalaikas. You know what a balalaika is?
No,
like
Okay.
So it's like 70 mandolins, different sizes. And so their tone was kind of like, you think you're in Venice or something like that, that sound, but that's the way the strings would play. And we did a whole show like that, and it was incredible. So what that is, I didn't know it until I got there. So at that concert, Christmas in Blue was that their Christmas time is in January. And I don't know why they called it blue, but I think it had to do something to do with blues and Christmas songs together, so.
Did I see something one time where you were outside, performing outside when it was cold?
Yes, that was in the Czech Republic, and it was with the Gustav Brahm Radio Czech Orchestra and the big band. And it was it was 17 degrees out. Yeah, when I say 17, Fahrenheit. And you can see how those guys are all dressed up, and I'm there in the suit. I got a little cool, but I was freezing my butt off actually. And we had a great outdoor concert at Christmas time, and people come. The whole square would be filled with in the audience, and they're there, hot toddies and wine and stuff, and watching the concert.
Well, every time I see a post of you and Suzanne, you're just having fun, you having a glass of wine, and that's the way everybody seems to be.
Getting hammered, is that what you were saying?
I know. Wasn't
Well, it's funny here, the Czech Republic, they do drink pretty much. They're not alcoholics by any stretch of the means, but the beer here is cheaper than water. So you'll find a lot of people drinking beer quite a bit, or like I said, in the wintertime, hot toddies and that sort of thing.
Well,
so it's cool.
Then there's another. You sent me a photo of a newspaper sort of thing, and what was this about? It's a newspaper with a bunch of photos, and what was that advertising? Oh, this is the original vintage
orchestra.
Yeah. So
it was a featured article.
I see.
In the Czech Republic. I don't see the picture, but
it'll show up in a second. I mean, okay. The delay is pretty. Yeah, it's going to take a few minutes, but this is what I'm getting. This is what I'm seeing from here. I'm looking at all these pictures. I'm looking at you, and I'm going, dude, is a star over there.
Hey, I'm active, man. I'm active. I'm still moving up, moving forward, and I'm always still reaching for a new plateau, and that's what we all should be doing in life, and if something doesn't work for you where you're at, then and reinvent yourself. Keep moving forward, move on, move out of town if you have to. That's what, wow, those photos. And it helps to have someone that you trust, helping you along. My wife, Suzanne, is my producer in most cases. So
she helps. Get her in the picture there? Do you want to bring her in?
She doesn't like producing herself. She doesn't. she doesn't like producing her picture.
I got you.
But she's my angel, and there's nothing. I couldn't do anything without her. My entire life, she's been got me by the nose and by the collar here. But right. She's helped me. She's my producer. And she's my partner, and she knows what I need. And the way I think, and the way she wants everyone to perceive, what we're doing. So I've been very lucky.
Well, to me, it looks like Suzanne, from what I noticed, pays attention to a lot of details.
Yes, she does.
That sometimes, as artists, as musicians, we don't necessarily see or think it's important sometimes, and. Am I right? And that, she'll see the things that maybe we wouldn't necessarily think is important, and it makes all the difference in the world.
You are correct. And she sees things I never see at all. And I just kind of have to listen to her, because she makes sense, and she's always right, So it's helpful to trust someone else and trust their eye, because they're only looking out for your best interest.
Yeah. So. How often? Well, up and now I know everything is a little more goofy than things. I mean, how is the whole coronavirus thing? Is that really shut everything down there as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, completely out. And know what it is? They jumped on it early, and they took it very serious. So they shut down the country, going in and out. They shut down all the stores. The social distancing became a law, very serious. Everyone has to wear a mask. You get fined if you don't wear a mask. And what it was, everyone took a deep breath. This is all the businesses, all the government, and they decided, okay, everyone, we're on pause. Everything's on pause. So they continue to pay 60% of the salaries for all the workers in any form they can. They want everyone to not be stressed out during this time and just pay attention. So as a nation, everyone follows the rules. They seize the moment and at this time and just decide to chill out. And because of that, there hasn't been a spread of the virus very much. I think we have 120 deaths or something like that, which is not a good thing, anything. But I think there's only about 5,000 cases in the entire country. And they started early shutting things down. And so now they're at a point where they're hoping to start opening things back up a little bit, but they're not hasty,
To me, it seems like it's the total opposite of what's happened over here. Complete opposite. And when I heard you say pause, all I could think of is if our government would just come out and say, okay, let's just pause everything. Nobody has to pay anything. We'll give everybody some money and just relax and not be stressed. But instead, we're still having to stress where are we going to get our money? How are we going to pay our bills? Yeah.
I hate to say it, but it's kind of the American way, Here, for 6 months, you don't have to pay your mortgages.
6 months.
They know what they're doing. They don't want to cripple the country or its people, and they know their coffers are going down by putting money out. But they're comfortable with when everything starts up again, having the economy slowly go back up to where it was without any stress, and because they do this, all the people are relieved, and we're not freaking out here, So they think they know that the government has their back, so they just listen to the rules here, and it's been very cool. We trust each other,
Yeah. So I know that you have had visitors from California, and I was told that you have a very nice place, and that if I came over there, that I would have rights to the sofa or wherever. And
no, I have a special place for you in the closet. It's made up just for you. Very comfortable too.
Okay. Well, I've been put in some closets before and told to shut up.
No, you're my guy, man. You are welcome here anytime, for sure. Right. And we'll give you the keys to the city.
Really? I would love to have the keys to that city, and it would be nice to have some. From what I hear, the Czech women love American men.
I would know.
No,
got it.
I'm just saying that it wouldn't have come from you necessarily, but I've heard from other people. I actually get my hair cut from a lady who's from Prague, and she tells, and she's beautiful, and she says, yes, you need to go there because yes, we love American men. And I go, I have a buddy there.
Well,
well, now we've been.
I have heard that, and you're just gonna have to try and get yourself over here.
It's going to be a while now, but I want to say one thing when we first met, and I need to bring this up because it came up in a conversation the other day. Do you remember the Coconut Grove?
I do.
And do you remember at the end of the night when that's how we first started working together, right? And we would do like a 9 to 1 set or 9 to 2 or something silly in the morning, and then everybody would leave, but I would have to go upstairs and sit and wait for the guy to get the money from the strip club.
Right. From the strip club down the street.
And they'd pay me cash, and they'd pay me in like 1s and 5s and 10s.
Yes.
And they would be all wet and sticky, and and I'm like, dude.
It was a trip.
Every night.
It was a beautiful club, though.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's when we first started working together. And that was the mid 90s or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Black Market Orchestra.
Yeah, exactly. And you'd sang in my first demo, my very first demo for that band. And I don't tell anybody, well, I don't not having my band anymore, but I still use that Love Train recording that we did that you sang that you
Really?
you sang it so well. I still use that to, yeah, this is the band.
That's great. That's crazy.
It is. So, but I've quit playing, you know, so I don't play at all anymore. I can't do it.
Hey, send it to me sometime.
Yeah. Now, so before we've been at this for 46 minutes, but I just want to talk a little bit more about this beautiful city you're in and
Right.
why, not only is it quick though, before I jump there, how much were you working before all this happened? You were able to work a couple of nights a week easy, right? Oh, you froze up. There you are. Okay. You were able to work a couple of nights a week pretty regularly up until now, these recent events, right? In the city, doing music.
Oh, here in Prague, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
For a jazz musician, you can work a lot. There's probably 10 or 12 jazz clubs here that musicians rotate in all the time. And every night of the week, you can go listen to jazz here in Prague, Monday through Sunday. And then I've, of course, been going in and out of town to other countries performing as well. So, you know, up until this happened here, I was working up until the night before, you know, but then it cut down, so everyone just had to be on chill for a second.
So this is now bringing me to the point, you've got music and jazz and stuff that you love all the way around. You've got a government that's taking care of you, and then it looks like this. And I know you can't see this yet, but it is a picture of a grove of trees and some people walking with their dogs, and it's just a beautiful picture. And
it's a picture I think that you're going to show. It's up at the castle.
And that
castle.
And that's close in town, someplace that I could walk to if I came there.
Yeah, it's part of town. It's downtown, and it could be. It's right downtown, and maybe a mile from here. Everyone walks around the entire city. It's very accessible. There are trams and buses and metros, which are all extremely cheap. Yeah, that picture is one of many different views or trails or parks that are here in the city here in Prague. It's just beautiful amongst the some of the buildings are 700 years old. It's crazy. It's just beautiful.
And now I pulled up a picture of it looks like a church and sort of the city skyline. I mean, it's stunning, breathtaking. The pictures are beautiful, but just the city itself looks so inviting. And I know you can't see them. The delay takes a few minutes, but
yeah, I'm waiting for the delay. And while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to get my cord because I'm running out of battery right here.
Oh, okay.
Hold on a second here.
Okay.
All right, almost in there.
Beautiful.
There you go. I think.
Nice. Perfect.
Cool.
All
that
right.
could have been a catastrophe.
Yeah.
All right, where were you?
So the picture that I have up now is one of
Oh,
yeah, can you see that?
yeah, I see it. Those spires are part of Old Town Square, which is the original center of Prague, and also it is, as legend would tell it, those spires were the part of the inspiration for Walt Disney when he did the castle from from Disneyland.
Yeah,
You know,
it looks like it. You know, now that you mention it, that's what it looks like. And then this is just you know, what I see, it's similar to what I think I see in Italy and a lot of European towns where the streets aren't really streets. They're just narrow little kind of like walkways of
true.
cobblestone and stuff, right?
Cobbles everywhere,
Yeah.
cobblestones everywhere. So if you come here, you have to bring some serious walking shoes. You know?
Right.
Occasionally, though, we will see ladies trying to, and they're from other parts of Europe or from America, trying to walk around in high heels, but
Oh no.
it doesn't work.
I
It
could
doesn't
just
work.
the stilettos and stuff. I can just
Yeah,
see them,
exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So,
But the cobblestones have been here for hundreds and hundreds of years. And some of the buildings, all the buildings have been here for hundreds of years. Some
yeah.
of them more than others,
So
Some are 700 years old.
I've never
So,
been to Europe.
back to medieval times, some of them, so.
Right. And I think oh, that's the same picture, but let me get this one. I think what you were saying about all of the history there, I've never been there, but it must feel uh kind of awesome to be around that history and know it. There must be an energy that kind of comes out of just out of the buildings and the ground and just because of the history of the area. I mean, it has to feel way different than it does here in Los Angeles.
Completely. And you're right about the energy. You can feel, you think back in history of all the movies you've seen, all the historic movies during the war or whenever. Everything happened on these streets, when the communists were here, when the Nazis were here, so, and nothing has changed, nothing. Oh, what a great picture there,
Where is that? Where is this picture?
That's
What do we?
right on the, let's see. Oh, that's right on the river. Right down, and there's a building. See if I can see it straight across. There's a building that it has like a kind of a green dome. You see?
Yeah, yeah.
To the left of it, down, there's a building that's twisted. Okay, and they call it the Fred and Ginger building. And what it is, the architect made a building where it looks like the two of them dancing, Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. And the twist is supposed to represent her skirt. And the top of that, I think the green part is supposed to represent his like top hat or he's holding her. It's a beautiful building. So that's modern as well. Yeah. But the reason why that building is a modern building or there because during the World War II, Prague was basically considered a no-bomb zone. Hitler and a number of other people decided it was such a beautiful city not to touch it. Okay, well, the Americans made a mistake and they thought they were bombing Dresden, which is in Germany next door, and bombs fell right on that area and destroyed that whole area there by accident. And so when so what happened is when they rebuilt it, then they made it modern at that time.
Wow, that's a great story. I mean,
yeah.
See, that's the kind of I would come there and just want to sit and have coffee with people and at a little cafe or something and just hear stories like that.
There's plenty of cafes to do that for sure.
Oh,
Tons. And I think they make the best coffee and cappuccino and lattes. Oh, speaking of making the best, I think their desserts are the best here.
yeah.
Super good and not too sweet, not grainy with sugar. Just if
Oh,
you can have a healthy sweetie, they make those things here.
man. So the last picture I have here is of uh, it looks like a entrance to a theater or something, like a ticket window.
Wow,
You
it's
see it?
cool. It's called Umalejo Glena. That's the first nightclub I ever performed in when I got here to Prague. That was my start. And we arrived here on a Thursday, and they have a open mic on Sunday. I went to open mic on Sunday. I sang these songs, jazz stuff, and it's always just musicians all from all over Prague. And then the bartendress heard me singing, and as I was singing, she called the owner and said, "Hey, there's this guy in town. You need to hire him for the club." So she did that. He did that, and then he and I became friends. That was my first gig, and from there I met all the other jazz musicians here in Prague, and then from there after that I performed at every other club that you have here.
That's
So
fantastic. And how far is this from where you live?
20 minutes maybe.
But
You know,
still,
everything's 20 minutes. 20. It's a city, but it's small. It's a small city, and like I mentioned before, you can get around so easily, by trams or metros or buses. You
yeah.
know, they're like $1. You know what I mean? That's
Wow.
it.
Wow.
You ride all day.
Man. So um one last thing before first we're almost up for an hour. We've been at this for an hour, and it
Hey
looks
man.
we've had consistent viewers. And so what I was thinking is, first of all, thank you for taking the time to do this, and helping me look like I'm cool. I need
Thank you.
I need a
I'm
lot.
doing the best I can to help you out, brother.
So what I was wondering is, in order to close it out, is there something off of your website, something that I can play or off of YouTube here? Is there something that I could pull up that would be kind of a cool way to close out the show of you singing? Oh, sorry.
Well, I'm going to try and pull up. I just a month and a half ago, well, not a month, in January. In January, I had the pleasure of singing with the Russian Philharmonic Orchestra.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if that's on my website. Suzanne, my producer back here, is trying to pull that up now, and she'll send it to you. I think she's looking for it on Facebook.
Is it on YouTube?
Suzanne said she sent you the link on Facebook.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay, so give me a second.
It's a Facebook address, is what it is. And I'm singing a Hollywood song, by Hollywood hit by Frank Sinatra. And what's happening is, even though I'm jazzing it out, I do R&B every now and then, but my preference is jazz. But I'm moving closer into performing with symphonic orchestras and big bands and symphonic orchestras. So that's where I'd rather go at this time. It's when my heart is leading me. So.
Right. Okay, I think I have it. Okay, now let me go full screen. Let me make my little switch, and we will sign off, and you'll see the delay of this, but we'll sign off with this song, and it's like 3 minutes and 17 seconds. It looks
That's
like.
it. It's called I Have Dreamed.
Okay, well, we're gonna close out the show with Chuck. And where was this again?
It was in Moscow.
Moscow. Okay, I'm sorry. I was while
Conductor,
telling the story.
conductor is an American conductor. John McLaughlin Williams.
Okay, I think we're oh, hang on. Got my computer. Come on, go full screen. Full screen. There we go. All right. I'm ready to go. And here is Chuck singing in Moscow with the, how do you say, the Philharmonic?
The Russian Philharmonic Orchestra.
All right.
Hey, man. Peace out. Thank you.
I have dreamed that your arms are lovely. I have dreamed what a joy you'll be. I have dreamed every word you whisper when you're close to me. How you look in the glow of evening. I have dreamed of enjoy the view. Dreams, I love you so that by now I think I know what it's like to be loved by you. I will love being loved by you. Dreams, I love you so that by now I think I know what it's like being loved by you. I will love being loved by you. Thank you so much. Спасибо.